Man, we really be in these streets moving too fast for our own good. And when you really think about it, we live in such a fast-paced society, at least in contemporary society, where everything needs to be new, fresh, trendy. If it ain't popping, it ain't worth nothing. Anything that we do, we feel the need to post it. And if people don't like it, then we question it. And it's like, bruh, people don't have to validate you for something to be valid. If you want to do something, do it. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to get started. And I can definitely think back to times where I would want to try something new, or I would want to start something and not even do it publicly, but just do it for myself. And let's say it's a new project, or, I just want to draw a picture of something. I would want to have everything planned down to the T and make sure that every line looks just right and make sure everything is perfectly aligned for me from start to finish to accomplish whatever I wanted to accomplish. Now, there's another dimension to me. I really like drawing, so I really enjoy drawing like 90s cartoon characters. And when I draw, I always want to have the end in mind. I always want to know exactly what line I'm gonna draw next, and there's a lot of planning that goes into my artwork. But sometimes it really ain't gotta be perfect. It ain't gotta be where I know exactly what the end point is gonna look like. Sometimes I think to myself like, yo, I'm really good at mimicking other people's artwork, because what I'll do is I'll pull up a picture on my phone, on a laptop, and then I'll just draw what I see. But then I think to myself, and I think about artists who are incredible at just drawing like straight off the dome, and they'll just draw whatever they're thinking about, or they'll have an end image in mind, but then they don't have to see it. Like, they don't have to see the final product to mimic it. They just have it. And then whatever they create, whether it be they drawing it, or they painting it, or they're sculpting it, or whatever medium of art, it just happens and it unfolds. And one thing that I really appreciate about artists and different types of creators is sometimes all you really need is just confidence and conviction in whatever you're doing. And that's something that I'm learning how to really cultivate within myself, not just with art, but with just how I move throughout this thing called life, right? If I'm so worried about how it's gonna look at the very end, then I'll be distracting myself from what I got in the present and from what is right in front of me. A lot of times we wanna move so fast, not even we, I'm gonna just talk about myself because I don't know who else on the other side of this. A lot of times I wanna make sure that everything is in line before I start. But let me reiterate, it don't have to be perfect for me to get started. Because if that was the case for everything I've ever done in my life, I wouldn't get too far if I was always thinking, if it ain't perfect, then I can't do it. Or if I'm not gonna be perfect at it, then I might as well just leave it alone. Now, granted, there are some situations where it's really about priorities and just how do I wanna spend my time. But in other situations, if I really wanna try something new, then I have to be okay with it being half-baked. I have to be okay with it not being perfect. I have to be okay with it just being what it is. Because the worst thing that I can do is not start. Because if I don't start, then I'll never finish. And I can't keep holding myself back by saying, yeah, yo, this ain't really perfect, so I'm not really, like, it ain't exactly what I wanted to be already. So I'm just gonna scrap it, forget about it. No. The point is, whether it's art, whether it's writing a paper, whether it's just doing something, accomplishing a task, the best thing I can do is to just start. That's it. All I gotta do is start. And I cannot get so wrapped up in what everybody else is doing. So let's say I'm drawing a picture, but I'm comparing myself to professional artists. And people who were on the gram or on YouTube and they got stuff looking like they was Picasso's apprentice, and everything that they do is quote unquote perfect from my perspective. But then simultaneously, when I'm looking at somebody else's work thinking it's perfect, they're probably critiquing themselves on a whole nother level where they're saying, oh man, this isn't perfect yet. There's still some inconsistencies here, there, and I can see where I could have done better there. But from my perspective, it's like, yo, that's dope. I want to be like you when I grow up. But I can't be so focused on what everybody else is ever doing if I'm just looking to start. I'm looking to stay in my own lane. I'm looking to just get my feet wet and get in the mix. And the key with not worrying about what everybody else doing and just staying focused on my lane is understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing, and understanding that whatever I'm doing right now, no matter how it looks in the moment, it's setting me up for what's to come. And I can't be so pressed about what's to come, but I just need to focus on what is present, what's here, and what's now, and just constantly reminding myself of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and constantly reminding myself that, yo, it ain't gotta be perfect. And you also don't need people to validate you for what you are doing to be valid. People don't have to validate me for me to feel that what I'm doing is valid. Honestly, the dopest asset that I've learned is in such a fast-paced society where we're all looking for the new next biggest thing, the next trend, the next what is everybody else looking at that's popular. The best asset of life is a good old friendly reminder. It's the reminders that really keep us grounded. When we're looking for what's new, the reminders tapping us on our shoulder and saying, yo, remember why you started this, or remember where you're planning to go, or remember how like this is just a milestone for what's to come. Remember what you got going on. Remember why you're in your lane and why you're running your own race. Those friendly reminders. And in the fast-paced world, that reminder to just slow down. That reminder to just roll up, breathe. Shut up. Don't sit down. Don't do nothing. Stop it. Key point. In this fast-paced world, where we're all looking for what's new, what's now, what's trending, what's the most popular, always remember that regardless of what everybody else is doing, always remember why you're doing what you're doing. Remember that how you're doing what you're doing is just as important as what you're doing. Another key point, it doesn't have to be perfect for me to get started. Sometimes starting things under the worst conditions is the best way to start, because if you can, here's an analogy, if you can dance in the rain, then dance in the sunshine, run that back. If you can dance in the rain, then dancing in the sunshine is so much sweeter. My final key point, don't be so focused on the new notifications that you forget about the reminders. The new notifications are cute and all, but it's the reminders that keep us grounded. Remember to just slow down sometimes and keep that core why, keep that inner drive about why you planned on doing something or why you've embarked on a specific journey, or just keep that core sense of I am existing because, like, I'm just existing just because. And that's cool too. Everything doesn't have to be goal oriented, everything doesn't have to be milestone driven. Sometimes just being is enough. Sometimes just existing and breathing is more than enough. I'll leave you with this. The moment you stop focusing on validation from others, and the moment you stop obsessing about what everybody else is thinking, that is when things start to open up. And that is when you start to see how you define what is valid for yourself.